Okay, so this is a redo of yesterday. Um, okay, so I'm gonna start off by explaining how I look for a company, um, my decision-making process, what's going on in my mind, and when I like to buy or sell. So, um, let's start off by saying there are, I would say, I think 550 different companies that I'm tracking right now. So I have all of them categorized on my Google watch list. So every day when the market opens, of course, every company is going up and down, as long as it's not a holiday or a weekend. And it'll also categorize the percentages of the specific companies dropping or going up. And so let's say I see like the worst 5 or 10 performers, depending on how big the drop is. I'll go and click on the company. I'll look at the chart first. So I zoom out. Let's say it's like CVS, for example, like I was bringing up in yesterday's video. Like if I see CVS drop like 10-20%, it does not mean I'm going to buy. It does not mean that I really need to take a look at it, but generally, depending on the company, I will. So if we're talking about like Pinterest or Snapchat or like I don't know what, Bed Bath and Beyond, and like just some like smaller companies, I generally don't pay as much attention. But if it's like CVS or Walmart or Starbucks or Target or Amazon or Adobe or Intel, like if it's a big company that has tens of thousands of employees, that's when I'm a little bit more interested. So what I'll do is, for CVS, for example, I'll pull out I'll go to CVS stock on Google. I'll look at the price chart for the day. I'll see a percentage, and if it drops, 10-20%, something bad probably happened. So I'll go to news instead of like focusing on the stock price and everything, and I'll look at the news to see what caused the massive drop to happen. And then depending on like what the news is about or why it happened, if it seems to me to be like overblown, then I'll go back to the chart. I'll pull up like a year view of what the share of CVS has been bought and sold for. So I'll know the bottom of the whole year and the top of the whole year. And right now, CVS is sitting at like the lowest it's been in 12 years straight. So if it's the lowest it's been in a year, that definitely grabs my attention. But I don't just look at the year, because I'll pull up like a 5-year chart. So under the 1Y on Google, there's a 5Y and there's an all, and I'll click on 5Y to see what's happened in the last 5 years. Generally, like, I don't focus on like 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago, because businesses are always changing and the world is always changing. So generally for me, what's happened in the last 5 years is enough time for me to decide if it's a good buying point or selling point. So anyhow, when I pulled up CVS the other day, I noticed, like, I had already known that it had dropped to its 5-year low once or twice already earlier this year. We're in December. It's December 17th, 2024 right now, so Christmas is literally in like less than 8 days. But because I see it being the lowest it's been in 12 years, then I go digging further into their financials. And then I'll generally use there's so many different like websites and companies that report all of this stuff. Even Google does itself, but I generally, for some reason, like to use Yahoo Finance. It's pretty simple. Hello. Okay. Yeah, so I'll go to Yahoo Finance, I'll look at their assets, I'll look at their liabilities, and then I'll subtract those two and kind of get a good idea for how much the company has on hand. So if they went out of business, if they filed for bankruptcy and like had to liquidate themselves, their assets minus their liabilities, as far as I'm aware, is what the company's actually worth on paper. A lot of people talk about their book value, which it's the same thing. So I started this method in my head with everything I just said with Citigroup, and back in 2022 in like June and July, I saw an article that said Warren Buffett sold all of his Wells Fargo shares, or most of them. And for me, I thought about it and I realized that Wells Fargo is around every corner all over the U.S. They're not going anywhere. They're, I believe, the third biggest bank in the entire U.S. So with that being said, I saw an article that said he used that money to go and buy Citigroup shares, and in my head, I've been trying to figure out how Warren Buffett invests his money, and what goes on in his mind, because I know he's 94 years old, and any day now anything could happen. His partner just passed away a couple months ago, for example. So, and he was 99, but yeah, so as you get older, your days get more limited, and your health gets worse generally. So I realized in my head that for myself, I was out of time, or running out of time to figure this out. So I saw that he dumped $2.5 billion into Citigroup Bank, and I thought to myself, why would you sell a bank that has been like struggling but everybody has, and then go buy a bank that nobody ever talks about, that I've never even seen a branch myself in person. Nobody ever talks about this bank. Nobody in my family, even as far as I know, even uses it. So it was more about the concept of why he made those decisions that I was trying to figure out, and that's where I pulled the market cap, used everything that I do, all of my accounting, looked at their balance sheet, and I found out that Citigroup was worth like 200 and like I think 4 billion or something at the time, and the investors only had valued the business at like 80 to 90 billion. I think it was about 90 billion. So I ended up buying 83 shares at the time. So it cost me about 4,000, and that checks out to be like 47, 48 share on average. I kept holding on to those shares. I basically realized that Warren Buffett's smart, he knows what he's doing, and I realized that the purchase of Citigroup was at like 40 to 50 cents on the dollar. So basically for every dollar I'm putting in, I'm buying 40 or 50 cents. Now all I have to do is wait some time. But yeah, so I was very, very, very confident, and like in hindsight, I should have put 10 grand in. I should have put 100,000 in. I should have put my whole life on it, but I wasn't sure that I knew what I was doing at the time. So I had a few friends mention certain things about Citigroup that I had never known before, and that made me even more interested in it. So as it dropped even further and further after my purchase, I bought even more, and then I flipped them once it came back up. So I only had to wait 2.3 years. The day that Trump got elected, boom, the Citigroup shares hit 70 a share, and I cashed out, and I made $2,300 off of that. So what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to leave that money into Citigroup Bank for the rest of my life, and I will not touch it unless it like doubles or triples or something from the price that it's at now. But yeah, so that was a hit. That was awesome, and I got my 4 grand back. So now the hard part is to figure out where I'm gonna put the money again. So because it's very easy to just say something, and then it's a lot harder to actually do something. So right now, CVS continues to drop further and further and further, and I also found out that CVS has more employees employed than Citigroup does. So I was doing some math last night about how many people are in the economy. There's about 365 million people in the U.S. Legit U.S. citizens that are not illegal. So the amount of working class people is about 150 to 165 million. I don't know the exact amount, but let's just say 160, so about half are working. And so I was doing the math even further to see what, like, if CVS were to go out of business, if something crazy happened, if they had to file for bankruptcy, all of those employees would lose their jobs. And I was also thinking how much damage that would do to the world, to the U.S. economy especially. And I kind of realized that if all of those people lose their jobs, this whole world as we know it's going down with it. So to me, I'm looking at risk to reward ratio, and now I've got, I think, 2,300-ish all into CVS, and I did some math and I realized that if CVS shares go down to like between 30 and 35 a share, I'm putting in $5,000. So anyhow, with that being said, I'm still looking for the next big purchase. For every up, there's a down, and I realized every business has its strengths and good times, and then every business also has its downturns and scariness, and that's why a lot of people sell like all at once, because they see other people are selling and they believe they're going to lose their money. But one of Warren Buffett's favorite lines to use is sell when everybody is greedy and buy when everybody's panicking. So that's how I did Citigroup, and it worked out extremely well. So here we go with CVS, and let's see what happens. So wish me luck. But this, again, I will mention this. This is not a video for investment advice. This is not a video of me recommending you go buy or sell anything. This is purely informational and for research purposes. I am making these videos now to see and test myself if I know what I'm doing, because I believe I know what I'm doing. I'm like 90 to 95% sure that I am on the right track for how the markets work, but I cannot use one company in one instance of me making some decent returns and claim that I'm perfect and that I know everything, because I don't. So this is my second biggest buy, and I'm definitely interested in seeing what the future holds. So yeah, anyhow, we only have a week left till Christmas. Enjoy it, and yeah, hopefully this video is way better than yesterday's. I'm still using the new phone that I got, and so far so good. So Merry early Christmas, everyone. And if I'll probably, I don't know if I'm going to be posting videos every single day, but I'm going to be doing a lot of research, and I'm going to be giving the best information that I can currently think of. However, once my plan is within, I would say 3 months to 12 months from now, I'm planning on like going full on with some sort of business that allows people to get like a pro version of all my research and everything that's in my head. I think it's worth people paying at the moment, but I don't have the kind of credibility to prove that. So I can prove it, but a lot of people might not believe what I've got to say. So, but what I will say is life is getting better. I just applied for my passport today. Sent in all the documents, paid all the fees. I just got this blazer about like a week or two ago. I got a brand new phone, and I'm planning on traveling next summer. So I'm going to South America, and generally people don't travel if they're broke. So for me, things are starting to turn up and get better as time goes on, and this is why I think it's ready for me to start making these videos, because if I can afford a vacation and be okay with not working for like an entire 3 weeks or a month, then I've made it to a certain point where a lot of the worries in my head about paying rent and bills and everything else that I've got to pay for I won't even have to think about it when I'm on that vacation. So they say hard work pays off. My favorite saying is work hard, play harder. So when I'm in South America next summer, I will be meeting farmers down there. I will be checking out cafes and restaurants and the culture down there. I'll be enjoying my time and not working finally for once. And I will be learning a lot of new things. And then when I come back, I don't know exactly what my plans are. I have a couple ideas on what I'm going to do when I come back, but I'd rather start these videos now here in the US in Arizona. And then whenever I'm out on that trip, I'll be able to take more videos out there and show you guys what it's like over there. So I'm planning on going to Colombia, Costa Rica. I'm considering 2 other countries as well. I like Argentina's new president that got elected. He's libertarian, so I'm curious to see how he's turning around the country and what his plans are and if they're working or not. And then I believe it's El Salvador changed their entire, I think, currency to Bitcoin, or they at least made it legal tender. So it's one of the only countries on the planet that has gone full force into the cryptos, and their bet 2-ish years ago has paid off, because they've more than doubled their money by now, if not tripled, with how cryptos are doing at the moment. So, but yeah, so stay tuned, and if you have any comments, please leave them below. Please like the video if you liked it, and also share it with your friends if you liked what I said. So the other, I guess, little tip that I'll give you is all of the healthcare shares have been crashing the last couple days because Trump, along with the people who he's working with, are not happy with the way the middlemen drug companies are working, and so all of them have been crashing, including Cigna, CVS, United Healthcare, and Humana, and then some others too, of course. But I actually ended up buying like $600-700 worth of a lot of these healthcare companies today because they're not going anywhere, and I realized that within the top couple, 3 or 4 companies that I just mentioned, there's over 1 million employees working for them. So regardless if Trump and the team that he's working with gets his way or not, with their plans, there's no way they're going to allow 1 million people to lose their jobs. So, and especially because a lot of those jobs are not McDonald's jobs, they're big boy jobs. So, all right, well, you guys have a nice day. And if I see anything crazy in the markets, I'll let you guys know. Also, in the future videos, I'm going to start giving you guys predictions on what I think is coming up, and I'll start giving you a little bit more of the background of how I got to where I'm at. So, you guys have a nice day. And also, shout out to George Gammon and the team that he works with and everybody who he knows, because I've been watching his videos for a little bit over 5 years now, and I would not be doing this at all for anybody if it weren't for him and the people that I've been listening to. So, bye guys.